decided to open a spice shop, and at that time there were 6 other spice shops in DC, and we're now the only spice shop in DC.
Wow.
We have over 102 spice recipes. I am constantly creating new recipes and rotating things in and out of the store.
How do you go spice shopping?
So it started with this guy, Vote. He sent me kilos and kilos of spices.
Wow.
And before I could even open it, I smelled it. And before I even opened it, opened each package, I was like, this is what I gotta do. I have to travel the world for spices because whatever is in this box, whatever these things, I didn't even know what it was yet, this is what I have to bring to my customers.
After that, you came up with the Black and Forth.
It's Black and Forth. I go back and forth with Black people. So Black and Forth became the name of my business model. And then when I went about purchasing a commercial property, it was the name of my real estate holding company, and now the name of the mini strip mall that I own in DC. I call it Black and Forth.
The mini strip mall. Flex.
Right. How did you go from 0 to 100?
We went from 0 to 1 million.
Word with me, yeah, you know BT. Suit so low, shout out OCT. No real cap, call out what we see. Whole game ready, baller blitz on 3. No, you can't stand on your own 2 feet. I already know you can't ball with me. Come chop it up with the squad and me. They get a letter, they calling me. BallerAlert. 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 BallerAlert.
BallerAlert, it's OTT with that.
It's your bestie, Sue Solo.
And it's your boy BT.
Just in case.
Prayers up for Jasmine Sullivan, who recently just lost her mother. And also prayers up for Bronny James, who suffered cardiac arrest during his workout at USC.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking, you know. I definitely don't like people's speculations on what happened.
Were they speculating?
I mean, people are speculating, you know, just crazy stuff that I've been seeing on the internet about like the vaccine and stuff like that, and you know how people are saying like the vaccine is creating like blood clots and stuff like that, it's causing young people to have, you know, health issues. So I mean, just prayers up to, you know, Bronny James, man. Damn, man, your first practice and, you know, something like that happened, you know. I could only imagine how LeBron and Savannah feels, you know, hearing some news like that.
I mean, it's terrible that people would assume anything. I am one of those people who does feel like the COVID-19 vaccine was out too quickly. There weren't enough studies on it. We do not know how people's bodies are going to react to this until later on down the line. I don't know that it's associated to that his incident is associated to that, but I also understand why a lot of people are fearful of the effects of the COVID-19 vaccine.
Well, speaking of prayers, Jamie Foxx has finally
thanked
said something
everybody
about the
Now when I said this, when I brought this up, y'all thought I was crazy.
I didn't think you were
it's not
crazy.
a y'all situation. It's just that some people hadn't heard that people were upset about him not thanking them. I was not upset. I felt that if you were mad at him, then you should have kept your prayers because clearly it wasn't authentic. But is he a clone? Is that him?
Man, that's Jamie Foxx.
His face look a lot different. It look longer.
I mean, he could have lost a little bit of weight, you know, been in the hospital, you know, for the time that he was there. I just don't like the fact that people feel like celebrities owe us something just because we're sending prayers and because we're fans. That man still has a private life. He's still, you know, he's Jamie Foxx to us. You know, and he's somebody's dad. You know, he's somebody's family member. So people got to keep in mind, man, these celebrities don't owe us anything. You know?
I mean, it's common decency to say thank you, you know, when people send you love and prayers and stuff like that.
He did say thank you on his Insta story.
For people to have been in an uproar like they were, like to not, like give the man a minute to come outside, enjoy himself. Like I promise, that man was gonna say thank you. Like relax.
Yeah,
but thank God he's okay. I'm just glad he's okay, and I'm about to watch the movie on Netflix.
I watched the movie and it's really good.
I love that movie, man.
You know,
I saw the
they
first,
clone Tyrone.
I only saw the first like 15 minutes.
It's
not because
crazy.
it was boring, just because I was.
Well, I'm a big fan of Tiana
intoxicated.
Paris. I love that she has been able to stretch her acting. She's been in The Candyman. You know,
she's the main lady, right, in the movie. She's hilarious. I love her.
Yeah,
I love her
don't
in
give
the
it
movie.
away now. I got to see it.
We ain't even saying that. We just said it's a good movie.
I like
Scared.
Tiana Paris. What's the main character?
Yeah, the dude.
Yeah, John Boyega.
Yeah, John Boyega. He is hilarious on there, and you know he has such a thick accent. But like, when you see him in a movie, he
That's
sound like a
crazy,
hood
right?
dude.
I mean, that's the part of acting. You got to throw your voice. You got to switch it up. Yeah. He's an amazing actor, though. Like,
for sure.
That man really molds into any role that he gets. Like, I thought he was a real thug. Like, I thought he was a gangster, an American gangster at that.
What about that chicken scene?
See, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about that chicken. It's in the chicken.
It's in the chicken. Dog.
Sue gonna catch up later.
Yeah, but yeah, man. If you haven't seen They Clone Tyrone, definitely check it out. It's definitely, I say it's kind of like Jordan Peele-esque. It makes you really think.
Yes.
You know.
Watch it tonight.
Yeah, it makes you really think. Let us know what you think about it. Check it out. It's on Netflix. Carlee Russell, y'all. I refrain from speaking about this story or bringing it to this platform because it was so many moving parts at the time, and now it's just all coming together and making sense. She lied, y'all.
Carlee Russell, girl, let me tell you how much I love you, how much I care about you. I almost packed up the mini.
Well, hold on, Sue. Can you give them a breakdown of what happened?
Okay, so apparently Carlee had called the law. She called her family. She was driving on the interstate and said that she saw a toddler.
What was she driving?
I don't know what she was driving.
She said, I was driving a Benz.
Oh.
Whatever it was, she was driving a car, saw a toddler, decided to get out to help the toddler, and then disappeared. Her personal belongings were still in her car. Her wig was snatched up off her head and left in the car, which furthermore led us to believe that she did get abducted. Somebody took this woman. So now everyone's looking for her. Her family's going crazy. Social media done got a hold of it. Black folk want her to come home. I almost packed up the mini and drove to Hoover to go find you, girl. And you was at a hotel. You was checked in at a hotel while the world was going crazy looking for your sorry ass. And you was okay.
And real women missing out here.
Real women. Well, something's not right. Now, it could be just for clout. It could be for
something
attention in a different type of way. Like maybe she's not together all the way. Maybe she wanted to make her boyfriend mad or something. I don't know what it was, but I don't think that she intended for it to get this big. I think she thought it was going to be a local little thing. She was just making her family mad, her boyfriend mad, and the thing went global. I don't think she meant for it to blow up like that.
You know what made me mad? And she sent the damn lawyer to tell her she was lying.
Yeah. She wasn't going to tell you herself.
She should apologize to the whole world.
You want her to feel that shame.
Yeah, feel that shame because she has so many people supporting her. I seen so many blogs posting about her, so many people that I follow posting about her.
Like this. Did you post about her?
Ooh. Did you post about her?
No.
Oh.
I
mean, it's just really unfortunate. There are so many people lost in real life. I mean, not lost, but have been abducted in real life, and you took
the taxpayers' money. You know, people got to pay taxes for those resources.
For sure, and now she may be looking at some criminal charges.
I hope she don't go to jail. Man, I hope I don't want to see nobody go to jail.
I don't think she should go to jail before they do an evaluation. Like, let's make sure she's okay mentally. Let's see what's going on with her. Jail.
She's obviously not there mentally. If you come up with a lie to say that you got kidnapped and
she could be there. She could be together mentally and just made a bad decision.
A lot of people are saying it has to do with her boyfriend. She was trying to get his attention. What do you guys think?
Your boyfriend got your back. He still got your back till this day. Okay, he defended you the first time. The first day one, he defended you again the other day. Yo, man, I don't know how. It seems like he gives you a lot of attention. It seems like he gives you unconditional love because the way my man would have left me, if this was me. Girl, that man love you. I don't know what more you want from him. Jesus.
I'm just gonna hope that's not the reason why she said that she was kidnapped.
She's gonna pop up at the house 2 days later after enjoying room service while the whole world was going crazy about you. Girl, I almost drove to Hoover, Alabama on your behalf.
And think about it. You know what the cops probably was thinking? That's why we don't show up.
But you know what the sad truth is? That's probably what she thought, what's going to happen. They was going to ignore it, and it'll just be like a little family
Another black
thing.
woman missing that they don't care about. Girl.
Oh, I see what you're saying. She thought it was going to be micro, small. Where she could just give her boyfriend a little heart attack.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Quick.
Like, she didn't think it was going to blow up. We done all lied before, okay? We done all lied before. Now, sometimes we have told a big lie, but it was to a small group or a small scenario. It didn't blow up. She lied. It blew up. Now look at you. You done lost your damn job.
Well, speaking of more ruckus in the social media streets, Jess Hilarious in this whole trans community. Have y'all been keeping up with that?
The audacity and just the arrogance for cis women to believe that they own periods, that they own womanhood. You don't. Okay, you don't own periods. You don't own womanhood. You experience both, and both are different for every person. But as a cis woman, it doesn't belong to you, so you can't gatekeep it.
Wait. Whoa. Okay.
Who the fuck stands up for us? And us, I mean women, real women, biological women, women who were born with all the parts that you guys wish that you were. When does the delusion stop?
No, really, who is protecting women? Because we just all out here getting our ass handed to us, fighting for our life. I don't have a problem with the way anybody chooses to live their life. If a transgender wants to be known as something other than what they were born as, I don't have a problem with it. If that is who you believe that you are, I support that. I don't support the community calling now natural born women cis women. I'm not a cis woman. I'm just a woman. Sorry that I have a natural period. I cannot help that. And I promise you, I'm not gatekeeping no period. If I could switch with you, I would. Okay?
We don't want no period.
We don't want to bleed every month.
We don't want that pain.
We don't want the PMS, the cramps. Like, come on now. And to be disrespected at that too. Like, come on now. We don't want that. But gatekeeping, it's a reach. To say that we're gatekeeping periods is a reach.
The whole gatekeeping periods threw me. Like, I'm like, huh?
Just because you're a woman and you bleed, you possess both those things, you don't own womanhood. I don't think anybody is trying to say that we own anything, but we are natural born women. We're going to have what natural born women have.
What you can't
it's okay.
change.
That's it. Like, I accept you for who you are. Respect me. That's it.
So what is I heard.
So then T.S.
What does
Madison,
cis woman mean? What is cis?
I was just that's exactly what I was about to ask. What does cis woman mean?
I don't know.
Only transgender people call natural women cis women. Like, what the fuck is that?
So then T.S. Madison goes into it and she says, there are so many real women that get mistaken for being transgender women, and that's where a lot of the anger comes from. I do hope they take a good look at how transphobia affects all women.
For you to make that comment, you are completely disregarding the hurdles and the challenges that natural born women go through. You are doing to natural born women what you don't want done to you. You are discrediting our experience. You are belittling who we are. You're literally doing to us what you don't want done to you. That's crazy.
I think just like how they have so many rules, that we have to follow and make them feel comfortable. Like, we should be okay with saying, I don't want to be called cis.
That's it. I'm just a woman. That's it. Like, I never heard of the term cis woman prior to this revolution, essentially, being as big as it is. I don't have a problem with you fighting for representation because you matter. Representation matters. There are millions of other people that are going through identity crisis. They're trying to find themselves. I respect your journey. Cool, no problem. Do not call me a cis woman. I'm just a woman. Don't call me anything to appease what you want to do or be for yourself. Like, don't.
And this revolution kind of, like, as you just stated, kind of happened post growing up, because I didn't grow up learning that.
I don't know anything about it. That's another thing. So many people within that community, not everybody obviously, but so many people in that community are mad at what we don't know. We're learning right now. We're open to learning. We're open to receiving who you are and understanding your world. But you're not gonna slam me every single chance that you get and disrespect me for just being a woman. I am just that. That's all I am.
Maybe we can get a little bit more clarity on it. Like, we invite T.S. Madison and any other gendered people to come and educate us here on the BallerAlert show.
Open dialogue. Just open, respectful dialogue. That's it.
Well, we about to have some open dialogue because Angel from the Spice Suite stopping by the BallerAlert show. We finna get spicy right here.
BallerAlert! Peace, y'all. This is Angel Gregorio, and you are now tuned in to the BallerAlert show.
Miss Angel in the building on the BallerAlert show. Let's take it back to the beginning.
So I started in education randomly. I started working at a youth jail, and I thought that I wanted to become a forensic psychologist. I have multiple degrees in psychology, and I knew I wanted to work with
What does that mean, like talk to crazy people?
not crazy. Talk to folks impacted by mass incarceration.
Okay.
Right? And I knew that I wanted to do that.
We gotta break it down for the audience because
That's fair.
you know she was
that's
saying.
fair. Forensic psychology is working with folks who are impacted by the justice system. And I knew I wanted to work in the justice system because I have brothers, my mother and father have all been incarcerated. I have two brothers serving life in prison. And so for me, I wanted to go back and hopefully be the person that I wish they had saw that could have changed their trajectory. And when I went into the prison thinking I was on this path to psychology, I met this girl who became my best friend who was a math teacher. And I saw her teaching and it made me realize that I wanted to impact the kids like that. And so I went back and got certified to teach, and then I ended up becoming a teacher, dean, and then an assistant principal, and stayed in education and thought I would be in education forever until, I became a Spice Girl.
How many siblings do you have?
I have 4 siblings.
And 2 out of the 4 are both serving life sentences?
Prison, yes.
Wow.
Man.
How has that affected your family?
It's loss, right? So it's grief. I think that folks don't realize that having folks who are incarcerated is a lot like losing them. And I don't want to pit pain against pain, but it almost feels like even more difficult because they're here. So it's like you can see them, but you can't touch them in the way that you want to. You can talk to them, but the conversations are very different. You're watching them grow up, they're watching you grow, but you guys really still don't understand each other, right? Like my brothers and I have a very nuanced relationship because we've grown so much over the years that they've been incarcerated, and they think they know me, but they don't. And the same for me. I think I know who they are, but I don't really know them. But those are my brothers, so there's some real intense grief around not being able to love your siblings the way you want to love them due to the circumstances impacting them.
Are you the only person in your immediate family who has not been arrested?
I am the only person in my immediate family that's not been in prison yet.
So what's the difference between you and everyone else in your family?
Nothing. I tell people that all the time. We are the same. My brothers and I have the same. We have the same mentality. We have the same hustle. We have the same drive. We just have a different product, right? Like where they chose cocaine and weed, I chose, other things. And I also was attached to different people. My friends, my circle of friends was very different. Education, which is why I went into education, treats boys and girls very different, right? I had a smart mouth and still do. But when I had a smart mouth, it was just, a note on a report card, talks too much. But when my brothers got smart, they went to the office because they were aggressive. And then that led to suspensions. And then there's the school to prison pipeline that starts to happen. So I think it makes me think about how we need to treat boys and girls more similarly when it comes to how we redirect behavior, because we don't know the path that we're putting them on when we start punishing them too harshly, too early.
Thank you.
That's an interesting statement. It makes me want to bring up about what Florida is doing with the educational system. How do you feel about, what their governor is doing and trying to, erase
criminal.
Black history?
Yeah, it's criminal, period. It is also exactly what white people have been doing in this country for centuries, right? So it's almost like how we talked about Trump when Trump was in office. I think every Black person talked about how he's just putting a spotlight on the issues of racism that have always existed. What DeSantis is doing in Florida is not foreign to any of us, right? And the part of it that is difficult is we can keep the Black history in the textbooks, but the educators still aren't teaching it right. So he's just saying, let's take it out, which is trash, right? And it's trifling. But we still have educators who look like us who aren't teaching our kids the history that they need to learn in schools. So we just need to do a whole reform of the education system, the prison system, all of it. But I'm also an abolitionist. I don't believe in the prison system. I believe in reform in abolishing it completely. So my views are really radical around things like that.
Because it just seems like Florida is making it a big deal. Like it doesn't seem like people in Florida really making it a big deal. It's kind of like something that you actually got to go read about and actually go do your own research to see what's going on.
And I think that's the issue with us relying on our media to tell stories about things that are impacting us. The same way, I spoke to a group of kids who came to the Spice Suite to visit me last week, and we were talking about travel, and I asked them where they wanted to go, and it was about 20 kids, and they named different countries. None of them named a single country in Africa. And so I paused, and I was like, why don't you guys want to go to Africa? Name things you've heard about Africa. They were like dirty feet, dirty water, huts, dirt roads. Like they named all these archaic things that we've been fed from media about a country that is absolutely vast, beautiful, and rich, right? Total opposite of what they think, and it's the same with the history, right? Like I think we're relying on mainstream media to teach us things that will empower us and that will advance us, and that's not their goal. We have 2 different agendas.
Yeah, that's why I believe that we all should do our own research, because I actually follow this guy on YouTube that's in Africa, and he shows.
Smiling.
Huh?
You smiling?
Because I'm like, he shows like Africa like really what it is, and it's like really like there's real cities, there's like wealthy people, there's beaches, like there's like rich minerals that other countries are trying to go over there and still get to this day. And that's what made me smile, because I remember me being in Arkansas and going to school, and it was like Africa was just always planted us that there's like nothing there but dirt and huts. And I seen this guy on YouTube, and I was like, wow, this is what Africa looks like.
I've been to about 39 countries, and the most beautiful countries I visited are in Africa. The most beautiful beaches. There's nothing like the Indian Ocean, right? And we think about like Maldives, it's like this beautiful, but that's still a part of Africa. Indonesia tries to claim it, but it's still African soil. They're Seychelles, Egypt, Morocco, beautiful places. So I think we just need to also encourage each other to travel more.
Yeah, and you traveled a lot, because you went to like over 26 countries to learn about spices.
Yeah, so that's a part of my business. And now I just spend a lot of my time. I've not traveled in a while, and I'm sad about it. I'm like counting down. That's true. It's been a year. It hasn't been too long. It's been a year. So I'm counting down the days to my next vacation to travel again. But yeah, I literally spend my time traveling the world to source spices and get inspired for new spice blends.
Ooh, I bet you eat good.
I'm sorry, so what was you going to say?
I'm a victim of that. So I'm first generation American by way of the Tigray region in Ethiopia. I did not want to go to Ethiopia when I was 15, because I told my mom, I don't want to see all these hungry people, all these poor people. And when I tell you, I cried like a baby when it was time to come back to the States.
Yeah.
It was the complete opposite. So shout out to you for not only acknowledging that, but preaching it, like letting people know, why don't you take your behind to Africa? Everybody wants to go to these European countries and cities.
They trash.
Yeah,
and
like,
boring.
Go,
the art is boring.
I mean,
the fashion is boring.
You said it, not me.
Well, going back to DC, we were talking about you in the educational field. Where did the idea come from that I'm gonna open a spice store?
It was random and serendipitous. I feel like that is like the theme of my life as I, go deeper into adulthood. I had saw this random for lease sign on a building when I was leaving a nail salon. It was a Black-owned nail salon, so I, wanted to frequent that shop. And when I saw the for lease sign, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't have a budget. I didn't even have a desire to own a business. I just thought it was like an apartment where if you ask the landlord the rent, they tell you the rent. But the landlord had legitimate questions like, what do you want to do with my space? And so I was like, sir, I don't know. Don't worry about it. And he said, well, we're looking to make a decision in a couple of days. Let me know. And I was like, I'll open a spice shop. Can you just tell me the price? And then when he told me the rent, I was like, oh, that's not bad. I don't know what bad was, right? Because I didn't have any frame of reference. But I was just like, oh, that's not bad. And so I decided I was going to do it. I negotiated the lease. I had a friend in real estate development who helped me negotiate the lease to get a couple months free. And so I'm like, if I'm going to get a couple months free, I'm going to stack this money while I can, before I have to pay him rent. And so I decided to open a spice shop. And at that time, there were 6 other spice shops in D.C., and we're now the only spice shop in D.C.
Wow. So the other ones are out of business, gone.
They tried to sell to me. Yeah. Most of them tried to sell to me, but I didn't want them. No. I don't want to inherit their bad juju.
It's such a competitive space.
I'm good.
There are so many seasoning brands. It is such a competitive space. How did you go from 0 to 100?
We went from 0 to 1 million.
Okay, correct me.
Hello.
Get me together.
We went there kind of quickly, right? But there was this steady upward trajectory. And I'm super grateful for that, because I know a lot of times when we tell stories about business and business ownership, we always focus on like the hardship and the struggle. And I think a lot of times we struggle unnecessarily in business because we don't want to make the hard decisions. If we make the hard decisions quickly, then we can move out of the bad space and into the part where we get to harvest and, reap the harvest of what we've sown. And that's been the case for me. Like, we've had some difficult times, but it was really me investing in community. That has helped my business. I really feel like that was the key to my success, is that I made sure to bring as many Black people along the journey with me as possible and not feel like I can go alone.
So where did the Spice Sweep name come from?
my best friend and I, the one who was teaching, Rachel, she and I, when I text her, I think I text her or called her immediately. After I called the landlord, she might have been the first person I called. And so we started texting, and I'm like, I'm opening a spice shop. And because she's my best friend, right? So she riding. No matter what I say, she don't even know what a spice shop is. But she's like, okay, what we calling it? And I'm like, I don't know. I want something cool. And she's like, all right, sweet and spicy. I'm like, that's whack. And we're going back and forth. And she kept using the word sweet, but spelling it SWEET. And I'm like, saying it, and I'm like, no, I like sexy. You know me, I believe in all things sexy. Let's call it spice suite, because like a hotel suite, but also a suite is all encompassing, right? A suite is also luxurious because that is the most expensive place in the hotel, right? So it just had all these other meanings for why we would use the word sweet, and of course the play on the word sweet and spice as opposing tastes.
No, for sure.
I love it.
How do you come up with your spice blends?
I tell people, my motto is food is fashion, and I really believe that people should play in their kitchens and their closets. So I start creating spice blends in the same way that I get dressed. So sometimes you start with something really basic, like this little tank top, right? And that could be garlic or paprika or salt, something that's super familiar, whether you cook a lot or not. When I say those things, you know what they taste like, what they smell like, and then you layer and you edit. So you literally keep adding things. You add garlic, you add cumin, you add coriander, you add parsley, you add all these things on top. And then at some point, I either decide like this is bomb, I'm about to name it something, or it's like an outfit where you try it on and it's like, oh, this dress is fire, but I don't have the shoe yet. So you just sit. It sits in the closet until you get the right shoe, and then you come back to it and you're like, now I'm ready to wear this dress because I have the shoe, the hair, all the things that's gonna make the look what I want it to be. So it really is just a playful thing that I do.
One of the sayings that you have, and it's all over your t-shirts and all that, is what I love is we have it at home. We got food at home.
Yeah.
And everybody say that. How did you come up with that?
Being black, right?
Okay,
I think
that's all you hear growing up. We got food at home.
Growing up black, right?
your
You
mama
pass
will too.
McDonald's and you ask your grandma, your mom, auntie, whoever to get you McDonald's, and they're like, we got ground beef at home, and they know it don't taste like McDonald's, but they're not about
And
to spend the
sometimes,
money
you
on
ain't
it.
got nothing at home. You know ain't nothing in the fridge.
And they lying, right? They lying. They nothing at home, but they're gonna tell you that. And so I think I started it as a joke, right? To remind people that we got food at home of their childhood, but it also is me wanting to encourage folks of my generation to cook again, because I feel like we are so much of the culture of like brunching on Sundays and trying all the new restaurants, which I also enjoy doing, but there's something to be said about the family and community that happens when you sit down and eat together.
It really
Be
is.
it you by yourself, you and your significant other, you and your family. I just think that there's something to be said about pausing and taking time to eat at home.
Even just the process of cooking, right? Like you could be talking about this, that, and the third, or maybe you find out that this cousin feels like this spice would be better with this, and you try it out. Like, it's just such a family-oriented experience, and I do feel like you learn something when you cook as a community.
Yeah, you find out how cheap life is.
That part. How do you go spice shopping? Like, how do you wake up one day and say, okay, not only am I going to start this spice business, but I got to go find the spices. How do you go spice shopping?
So it started with this guy, Boat. He's a comedian. We met randomly in Safeway. And when I posted on Facebook that I was going to start a spice shop, he hit me and was like, hey, I'm about to go to Kuwait and I want to send you some spices. And I was like, okay, cool. Like thinking he's going to send me a little sample, a little pack. He sent me kilos and kilos of spices.
Wow.
And before I could even open it, I smelled it. And before I even opened each package, I was like, this is what I got to do. I have to travel the world for spices, because whatever is in this box, whatever these things, I didn't even know what it was yet, this is what I have to bring to my customers. And so I traveled to Puerto Rico first, because there's a spice shop there that is owned by a woman, and she's the only spice shop in Puerto Rico, and she's been there for 20 plus years. And so I just wanted to stand in that space that was built by a woman and see what that felt like and feel that energy. No interview. I just wanted to go there, spend some money with her and support. And then after that, I just started traveling, because I figured everybody eats. Right? So I don't have to have an agenda. I don't go to any country looking for a particular spice per se. There's some places, right? If I go to Morocco, Dubai, I'm looking for saffron because it's expensive and I need to get it there. I've learned what, is unique to certain places, but otherwise I just go. I just go, travel, and try things.
You probably eat some of the local food and you're like,
Always.
What is that? Whatever this is, I need that.
I try to eat local and I try to cook while I'm there with locals. Not like a cooking class that you book online. I try to literally I'll pay somebody.
So
like, will your
authentic.
auntie let me come and cook dinner with her?
Period.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I know you be cooking.
Speaking of cooking, you do cooking on your Instagram and things of that nature, which I love too. You be having the jams going. That's why I put on that Raphael Sadiq. Let me try to catch a vibe. What are some of your favorite recipes?
I don't necessarily follow recipes, but some of my favorite things to make are veggies. I love making different vegetables and having fun with them because I feel like it is the most surprising thing for the folks on Instagram, right? Like when you make Brussels sprouts and make them look good or sound good, or green beans or carrots, things like that. Folks, we all do salmon and chicken and all the kind of staples. But when you have fun with vegetables, I think it changes things. And as a mom, I want my kids to experience vegetables and love them and not think of them as these soggy, bland things like I did growing up.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point because everyone does really feel like vegetables are bland. So you're either going to have bland vegetables, soggy, they done cooked the nutrients all out of it, or you're going to have to overcompensate with heavy seasoning.
Yep.
And I don't like doing that. I feel like if you have to use a lot of seasoning, either what you have isn't hitting, it's not flavorful enough, or you just trying to clog yourself up. It's one or the other. I don't...
You had the Spice Suite, and that was very successful, especially after the pandemic. I know COVID was good to you.
Yeah.
After that, you came up with the Black and Forth. Can you let us know about that?
So Black and Forth came about, the name Black and Forth came about a few years ago. I was doing interviews maybe a year into business. I have this business model where I have these Black women who have products that are handmade or uniquely sourced, and they pop up at my store regularly on a recurring basis. In exchange for them having a space to pop up, they work at the store. So I don't have to pay staff to work at my store, right? So it's this unique business model. And I called it a barter. I was doing these early interviews and I'm like, I barter with Black women because that was the best way I knew to describe it. And I got a call from the U.S. Department of Labor's legal department. And the guy was like, yeah, so I heard you're doing a barter, but we don't see anything on file with the IRS. And I was like, so I lied. Because if the IRS has to get involved, then I definitely said the wrong thing. Let's stop there. It's not a barter. What do we call this? And he's like, no, I'm not trying to trip you up. I just want to understand your business model. So I started talking it through with him, and he tells me the different employment types as the DOL describes them. And he was like, what you're doing does not fit in any of our employment types. And I've actually never heard of it. I've been here about 10, 15 years. And I was like, well, if he's never heard of it and it doesn't fit any of them, then I need to own it and trademark it. And so I said, now I need to call it something. What is this idea of me going back and forth with Black people? It's Black and Forth. I go back and forth with Black people. So Black and Forth became the name of my business model. And then when I went about purchasing a commercial property, it was the name of my real estate holding company. And now the name of the mini strip mall that I own in DC, I call it Black and Forth.
The mini strip mall.
I
Flex.
love it. Right. I love that. You actually kind of, and this is just what comes to mind. You remind me a little bit of Pinky Cole. Like when I hear her story, she'll talk about something that was like an everyday experience for her and how that everyday experience, that moment sparked an idea for a business that ended up being extremely successful. Yeah. For you to have the Black and Forth, that came from something that you were actually just doing. It just came to you naturally. You wanted to do it. Yeah. And now it's a whole extension of who you are and what you offer the community. So that's really dope.
Thank you.
What's some advice you would give, a lot of Black businesses that ideas that you've used to be successful?
I typically give the same two pieces of advice, right? And it's start now, perfect later, because sometimes we get in our own way. And we talk ourselves out of starting something because we're waiting for it to be perfect. Our labels have to be perfect. The website has to be perfect. We have to, have a certain amount of followers before we launch it on Instagram, all the things. So that, start now, perfect later. And secondly, I always say, be careful who you dream out loud around. Because sometimes people can't see for you what they can't see for themselves. And they will stop you from moving forward because they will impart their fear on you. And that's scary.
Okay, so all of these Instagram chefs and, Black Instagram entrepreneurs that swear what they got is the hottest thing. Try my seasoning, it's so flavorful, but then you see them dumping a pound of seasoning on something. Clearly, it's not good if you have to use so much seasoning. What is an easy recipe that any girl can make for her man, or she just wants to impress a guy for the first time? What is the easiest, like, foolproof meal that you would suggest?
I guess so. I don't know if there's like a quick recipe, right? But if I'm thinking like someone's coming over and you wanted to make something easy, spinach dip, right? Spinach dip is easy, so you can elevate that a bit by doing like a spinach and collard dip.
Okay.
So some frozen spinach, frozen collard greens. You get whatever type of cheeses you want. Good cheese makes things better, right? Some Manchego cheese, some Gouda cheese. You mix those together and get some a good seasoning blend, preferably the spice sweet, right? Preferably the spice sweet. And we don't necessarily recommend certain blends for specific things. So I don't believe that like there's a steak blend or a vegetable blend. And then you mix it a little bit of mayo in that, some sour cream, and then you mix it up and literally bake it. And that's a quick, easy spinach dip. And that's something to have, even if they're not staying long, right? Like you talking about somebody trying to impress their man. He's picking you up and you guys are about to hang out for the evening and you want to just have a cute little appetizer. Before you guys leave, you want to have a drink, a little appetizer at the house before you leave out. You can make some quick spinach dip.
I'm going to try that.
Now, I was just about to say, now Sue just asked a personal question.
I was gonna get what I needed.
I like how you did it though.
Tell the people I am the people.
Miss Angel from the Spice Suite is in the building. What does Black-owned business mean to you?
Man, I think Black-owned business is about legacy. It is about reclaiming our space in this country, and it is about setting an example for our kids. It's so important when people bring their kids by back and forth and they're like, I just brought my son, my daughter to like see you, to meet you, or to see this space. Like that means so much to me, because it's like you traveled here to see this, which means it doesn't exist where you are, which makes me sad. Right? But it also makes me grateful to know that I created something that is aesthetically beautiful enough that you found it worthy to bring your children, but also has enough significance historically and, just thinking about future, that you wanted your kids to like stand in my space and be a part of it as if it's this historical landmark. So Black business is really, it's also ordinary. Right? And when I say ordinary, I'm not saying it because Black businesses are basic, but I think that so many of us have created so many things that are just like what we need to be purchasing every day, that we need to start buying Black out of just it being what we do and not out of protest, right? Like we don't have to wait for some big brand to mess up before we start putting out the list of places that we should buy from. Like there's Black people that make deodorant and lotion and toothpaste, light bulbs, Band-Aid, like literally all of your necessities. I can name a Black brand that makes them. So we don't have to wait for somebody to mess up before we start shopping Black. And I really hope that we start to embrace that more. I feel like we're turning that corner slowly, but I feel like we need to put our foot on the gas on that one.
It's hard because that's crazy that you said that, because literally yesterday I was just talking to somebody and I said, you notice Uber Eats don't tell you what the Black restaurant said anymore?
It was a moment.
Wow.
If you notice, Netflix don't tell you the Black movies anymore. Like,
oh wow, yeah, they did used to have that section.
It used to be a section of everything. Like, if you wanted to support Black at some period of time, it would let you know everything. But now
it was like y'all did too much. Y'all supported too much.
That was
y'all supported. Y'all were clicking too much.
Yeah, just done said something to him.
It ain't Black History Month no more.
Right. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yep, they ain't protesting no more.
So all things Spice Suite at spicesuite.com.
TheSpiceSuite.com. Yep, and at The Spice Suite on Instagram.
Okay, I seen y'all had merch on there. Y'all had all the spices. You can get a box, a monthly box.
Yep.
And you have like a cookbook on there, right?
Yeah, so I created an ebook. It's old, but I left it there just because folks, kind of still want to use it as a guide, and which I think cookbooks should be anyway, not necessarily prescriptive. But I created that cookbook years ago when I was on MasterChef. When I was on MasterChef, we were sequestered. Right, so you can't talk to anybody. You don't have your phone. All you have is a journal and a notepad. And so every day while I was there cooking, I was writing recipes and testing recipes. And so there was like a range. So this recipe book is not like Southern food or Caribbean food. It is all the things that I made there, like Lebanese, Greek food, American food, soul food.
I seen some
and so it's a compilation. It's a combination of things. And so when I came back, I literally turned that journal into a cookbook. And we used to print it, and now because printing costs just got so ridiculous expensive, we made it into an ebook.
Will there be another one coming soon?
Ooh,
Taking all the videos from your
If I find a
Instagram?
writer, I do not feel like writing.
Listen, she just told you she ready to travel.
Yeah.
And you trying to make her do some more work.
I don't want to work.
You made this one recipe on your Instagram. It had like it was a soft shell crab and
Yes.
the shrimp with the guacamole stuff. I was like, oh my god,
Y'all making me hungry.
What's your favorite spice?
So I tell people, I don't have a favorite spice, right? Like I cook with all of them. We have over 102 spice recipes. I am constantly creating new recipes and rotating things in and out of the store. So I tell folks I don't have a favorite. And when people come into the store and ask me like, what's your favorite? Or what do you recommend for chicken or salmon? I always say like, girl, I don't even know you. I don't know what you want your chicken to taste like. Right. So I have no idea. And it is really akin to going into Macy's and saying like, I want some perfume. What do you suggest I smell like?
Yeah.
They don't know what you want to smell.
Yeah.
They could be super salesy and like try to pitch something to you, and I could do that, right? Like I could try to name 3 spices and they're gonna sell out just because I said they're my favorites. But I really want people to take their time and explore and find their favorite, because it really is like fashion. Like
It's
I'm
relative.
not, and it's not about what's trendy and what's popular. My least popular spice, you know, on paper or in terms of sales, could be the one you love the most.
That's smart. That's how I know you're a businesswoman, because you like, I ain't about to pick 3 spices.
No.
Y'all just gonna come in here and say, I want those 3 spices. Now y'all gotta try all 120.
I got way more than 3, baby.
I'm excited to go on down. Everybody going down to DC, the Spice Suite, and check her out because I know I'm gonna make my way down there.
Yes.
But we can order online, right?
Yeah, so our model online is we do boxes. So we created this almost like hype beast kind of hype around our products. So kind of like how sneakers and things drop, we would drop boxes online and we tell you what's in the box, but that's all you can get. So you can never go on our website and like point and click and add specific items. You have to take the box as is. And you know what's in it. So it's not like a mystery box, but that's how we do our online. But we also have personal shoppers, which are a group of Black women that decided they love the Spice Suite and they wanted to come in and shop for people who were out of state, and they can purchase any item in the store and ship it anywhere in the world. And so I created a separate website for our personal shoppers where you can link with them, that you pay them. I don't take any money out of that.
Oh, wow.
You pay them to shop for you, and I give them access to my store, which of course allows me more money to have my product in more hands, but it also allows me to support some Black women who really want to be able to earn some extra money by doing what they love, which is coming to the Spice Suite.
So are they the Spice Girls? Are the personal shoppers the Spice?
They're separate. So there's a lot of Black women. There's the Spice Girls, and then they're the personal shoppers. The Spice Girls, they are Black women who have their own businesses. So they sell everything from vintage clothing, beard products, waist beads, skincare, all the things, and they pop up on a regular recurring basis. So one of them might be there every first Sunday. Another one could be there every second and fourth Thursday. And they have their schedule, and while they're there, they're selling their products and mine.
I love it.
We ain't talking about spice up your life.
No, they're not singers. They're not a girl
About the
group
real
in that
Spice
way.
Girls.
Right.
Yeah, selling the spices, the Spice Suite. Miss Angel, we thank you so much for pulling up on us and sharing
Thank you so much
everything.
for having me.
And I can't wait to be down there. You know, I gotta watch it in DC though with my pockets, because y'all got. I was just down there and they had like a some other tax. I guess it's to pay for the building, like because COVID or something. It was I was just like, really, y'all got.
So the restaurants have started being crazy. They've added like COVID tax and all sorts of things.
my
Yeah,
God.
they've been ridiculous
Extra
fees.
tax.
Yeah. There are
Some of them
kitchen
have.
fees.
Yeah.
Now what you was just saying about cooking at home?
Yeah.
That
It's
part.
We got
wild.
food at home.
No, for real.
Before we get out of here, we got a pep talk.
My name is Angel Gregorio, CEO, owner of the Spice Suite in Black and Forth. My advice to anybody who's looking to start a business or has a dream that they no longer want to defer is to get out of your own way. Sometimes we overthink things. We allow other people's perceptions or fears about what we want to do to get in the way of us getting started. So you can always start now and perfect your journey along the way.
BallerAlert!